Welcome guys. Today I will show you an interactive form design and form validation built with the help of RxAndroid in native Android code. This will be a native Android project, and we will be using Rx Java or RxAndroid, that is Android version of the Rx Java, we can say. And we will use some library provided by us, provided to us by Jake Wharton, and we will see that later. Let's first see what we are targeting to do here. Here is an app I was building for one of my project. You can see here it contains a small form, a login form, just email and password and a login button. You can see that this login button is initially disabled, and it expects the user to input a valid username or email address and password. It probably might be expecting email here. Username is not implemented, I think. So we will ignore username, and just this form will check for a valid email and password. If these two fields are input are provided properly, then this login button will be active and user can log in through this form. Let's see how it works. If we start typing, see, this says the email must be a valid email address. See, and if we give a valid email address, it checks the patterns of the email given. This error is gone, so it says okay, it's okay. And now in case of the password, if we start typing the password, it says password must be at least 6 characters, and if we gives it 6 characters, see that login button is enabled. But if we change any of these and makes that invalid, so see, again this login button is gone. So it's a nice interactive way to build form and let the user know instantly that the form is your information is given correctly or wrong. It will help you build a better user experience. Another thing here is that when we start typing, that email is that error is not shown immediately. It waits for a minimum time for the user to make another key input, and we can call that debounce effect, and it waits for a window of time, and after inside that range, if user press another key, it again waits for that same amount of time, and if that window is the difference of key input is more than that, it shows the email error message. So it's another thing here to keep in mind. So let's create a project and starts doing something similar like this, and I hope I can show you some of the feature of RxAndroid through this tutorial. This tutorial will not be a initial RxAndroid tutorial, so if you guys have no experience with RxAndroid, this might be little tough for you. I suggest you look some beginners tutorial for RxAndroid. There is plenty of them available in different blogs and YouTubes and other things. And if you have a basic idea of what RxAndroid or Rx extension, how does Rx extension work, observable and disposable and map, something like that, then you will I expect that you will have something to learn, and maybe you already learned that. So let's get started. And if you guys have trouble with beginning of RxAndroid, then give me a shout. I will try to explain some initial level, beginner level things about RxAndroid in another day maybe. So let's get started and write some code in RxAndroid and Rx and Java Android. So let me create a project. I will say form validation. It's okay. Form validation. Next, it's okay. 15. Empty. Okay. Finish. So what we will do first is build a very simple form very quickly, and I will try to explain the major thing about RxAndroid. Sorry, what is this? Sorry for that inconvenience, I deleted something wrong. So we will have 2 or 3 text view, edit text, and a button, simple a button. And after the initial design we will dive for RxAndroid. So let's okay, I can keep this, why not? You can be here. Okay, let's make this match parent and gravity center just for a something to look at. What text color say? Android color I want this to black, and gravity okay. Text size 18 is enough. Let's look a quick look. Okay, it's okay. Now we will have to I want to use that interactive text in what is that text input edit text, something like that. I forgot. From that support design, let's just add support design first. I like support design to use there. I would like support design. Sorry for my bad English. What it says, alpha. Okay, type mismatch. I should use 26.10. SDK got updated, but not the let's wait for the sync. Okay, it's synced, and now I will use text input edit text. Here it is. Match parent and wrap content. What will I say? This hint here I will give email, basic form validation, I guess. Another one will be a password, and let's give a margin top is okay. I don't have a extracted dimension, standard margin. It's good to use dimension folder and not hard code that dimension, so that we can change that later. And we will use a button, match parent, wrap content, text will give submit, basic form, here it is, submit. And just one other thing, how does it behave when we say it's disabled, enable false? Okay, it looks enough. And we will give them each an ID, email et, password et, and button, okay, submit button. So let's take, okay, I will show you button knife, another jQuarton library. This is very good. Let's show this here. Button knife is a view binding library provided to us by the jQuarton. Very good guy, very helpful libraries he provides us. It's very easy. Just we need to add this to dependency in our Gradle file, and it should be implementation, not compile. It's better. We can discuss that another day, compile or implementation, but just keep in mind. And now to use button knife in this activity, we need to bind this view with this context, and then we can get this reference by saying at bind view r.id email id, and this is an text input edit text class. See, this is the another way of writing that email it equal to view.find view by id r.id, something like that, garbage code, and make our on create line and more huge. And this is very handy and elegant way to bind our view and everyone should use it, in my opinion. Text input, and that's it for button knife. We don't have we can do some more thing about more with this, and if you guys just take a good look with this page, GitHub page, and you will understand everything. It's very easy and everything is explained here. So I will not focus on that today. I will just stick to our form validation, and you can try this. And I will bind our button here, submit button. So our UI is done, and let's have a look at the emulator, how it shows. Okay, this should I can give that an input type that will force the next button in our soft keyboard to work. Text password and instant run. Yes, that's next return key of our soft keyboard works here. Oh, I want this. Okay, let's keep that way. Enable false. Okay, it's not that much important. Now let's go in dive into RxAndroid. First we need to add two dependencies for RxAndroid and RxJava, as RxAndroid depends on RxJava, so we need to add both RxAndroid and RxJava dependency. Let's add that. Check that RxAndroid GitHub page, RxJava bindings for Android. It's actually, so here it is. This is for RxAndroid. Sorry, let's add that in our build Gradle. And RxJava, what is the version of RxJava? RxJava version let's check that RxJava latest version from RxJava page, RxJava 2.1.12. so 2.1.12. so far we have added the RxAndroid library dependencies and RxAndroid libraries, and we will have access to that observable and disposable and subscription like things, typical RxAndroid things. But to work with this view, this edit text and buttons and something, we will need a RxAndroid view binding library that is also provided to us by jQuarton, and I will show you that in a moment. What it does, what that view binding does, that it creates an observable from this edit text or any view, and you can take the input or output of that view and convert it directly to a observable. So we need to add another one or two dependencies for those view binding, and we will directly convert that view into an observable and treat them like an observable. And that is libraries is in this page, Rx binding. We need to add this is required for all bindings libraries to work below. So we need to add this platform binding, it says here, and we need to use we need to choose which view binding will be working. We recycler view is available, design, support, app compare. We will not be using this support v or app compare v7. We are using design library, so we need this implementation of design library view binding. So we need to add this, and we can create observables directly from our UI views. And I was hoping to show you another blog from the developer of Realm. They discuss that Rx binding, view binding here in an overall discussion. Pretty old, not that old, 1 year from now, but it explains the principle here, how you can do that. Normally we are using this, we normally we use like this button and set and on click listener on that button. But when we use Rx binding, we can directly subscribe with that Rx views button. And in our case, what we are trying to do today, that form validation thing with that edit text, it's very much similar here. Normally what we do, if we try to listen the on change text change listener of an single edit text, we need to implement this 3 abstract method on before text change and on text change and after text change. But if we use Rx Android's view binding, see how much this gets sorted and beautiful, how much this is neat and clean. We can just create an observable from that text view, and we can directly subscribe from that. And moreover, we can use the power of RxAndroid with that observable. So let's see how you can do this. First we will create an observable from our edit text, from these two edit text, and then we will start form validation. I will let's create a RxAndroid helper class, so that I don't need to write this code again and again. What it will return: first we will expect that observable of string. It will return observable string get observable from et. So we will pass this an edit text. What? Sorry, this should be from IO reactivex observable. I was importing from the wrong class. So how we can do that is observable string edit text observable. I will explain it in a moment. Edit text dot, here what it says, dot text changes, or so text changes. Let me dot sorry for the inconvenience. Text changes dot text changes. What is this? Sorry, I forgot that I was not getting from Rx text view. I was directly operating from here. This is not good. Sorry for the mistakes. We can get an observable by using this Rx text view class. This is the class provided by Rx view binding library, and we can use this class to get an observable from our edit text or text view edit text. Sorry. So Rx text view dot text changes, and we need to pass this edit text, and we can map this function. It returns a character sequence, and map that to string. We will return a character string from this character sequence dot to string. So, and we will return this edit text observable. Okay, why don't we just directly return it from here? We don't need to create that unnecessary variable. So let's see again what we done here. We are just creating a simple helper class, so that we don't need to rewrite our code. And in this method get observable from, we are passing is edit text or text input edit text, both can, and we expect this method to return an observable of string from that edit text. So whenever if we subscribe onto that observable, whenever a change is occurred in this edit text, it will be reflected in that observable, or we will get that in this the on next method of our observable. So now let's create from two observable from our to edit text library, and this is a string of, we will say email again, that java util observable not import class from reactivex, email et observable, and what was the name, RxAndroid helper dot get observable from. Let's first pass this email et and create another, and we can say this password et observable and password et. So we now have two observable. and from these two, and we can let's check this by subscribing one of them, emaility observable, and subscribe, and let's see what it returns, and we will just log some that is string, and let's say that this is the email, and email string is and we need to create a tag here. I like this way, not hard coded way. Let's run this and see what is the current output of our observable here. So if we type, here it is, you can see here, if what we are typing here, it's getting reflected here. Our observable keeps observing the email edit text. Similarly, we'll go for will happen for password it, and now we don't actually want this, or we can keep this. Yes, we can keep this, and we will, when we subscribe into that observable, we can get a return of we will have a reference to that disposable of that observable, if that's the basic what RxAndroid says, and we can hold that disposable so that we can dispose that later, and we don't want to listen to any observable when our activity is destroyed, so that any memory leakage or unnecessary computation should not happen. So we will keep that reference of our disposable. We can say that email disposable, and we can create a field, password private disposable, sorry, type email disposable, and we want a similar, we will say this password disposable, and it will be from our password it observable, and we will get another field, password disposable, and this will be password, and we will not be using password disposable. So here we can add a, so what happens here, when we just types this type something in this text view, it immediately reflects or calls this method. We want a delay, I was talking about earlier, the debounce effect. If we keeps typing speed, this should not do or immediately call our form validation method, and it should wait for a little bit, and we can do that here. Before subscribing, before we subscribe to this, we can apply a debounce effect with this. It will take a time unit timeout window, that window I was talking about, timeout and time unit. I can say 500, and I want this to be time unit of milliseconds, micro not milliseconds. So it will wait for 500 milliseconds after a key press. If another key is pressed inside that moment, it will not trigger anything. We can more this RxAndroid debounce, we can get a clear idea of RxAndroid. Sorry, this I want this doc here, debounce operator, reactivex. If you go through this documentation, you will get a more visual representation of what I was trying to explain. So let's you should look that better, but now I will stick to this form validation. Similarly, I want this email observable to also have a debounce effect. Now we can apply a form section of form validation here, that we can test this email. If it's a valid email, we can show we will not show anything, and if it is a invalid email, then we will show user an error response. So just we need to search for a regex expression for email validation, basic email validation. Let's search that. What Google's stack over, sorry, not JavaScript, Java email validation, Java regex, I will say. Let's look that. I think this is a valid answer, and we can create this. We will use this or not matcher. I don't want to use matcher. I just want simple regex expression and test all matcher. I will find a good solution. Okay, I can take this. I can here it is. I can use this. This is what I was looking for. So let's check that. If email dot matches, I wanna paste this regex here. If email matches, what, another bracket, then it's okay. And if not match, we want to test not match condition. So not if email doesn't match this expression. So we want a, we can show how we can show. We can set text error email in this set error something. Yes, set error invalid email. We can say invalid email. And now we can test how it's going here. What, something went wrong on, oh, we are okay. So this debounce, when we use debounce method, it automatically subscribes that observable in the, I think, computational thread pool, something, maybe computational thread pool. So we need to observe this on our main thread. That's what this, sorry, Android schedulers dot main thread, that's what it was complaining about, that we need to only the original thread that created a view hierarchy can touch it. So it was trying to change the view in from that computational thread pool, and we need to observe in main thread. So now let's check this, and thread handling is very easy. Here it is. So it says it's an invalid email, and if we start typing, it takes a moment and says again it's again invalid email. So if it is, oh, that regex is not okay. I think that regex is not good, not okay. Let's test this. I need to keep this stored somewhere. I think I am very weak in regex. What is telling? It's so let's do that another time. You can get the concept here that we can test for some matches here and show that message in error message and something like that. This will be if the but one thing is that if we let's clear this, if we run this app, immediately it shows invalid email. That's not good. It should not show the type of error until user starts typing that. So we can filter, we will filter the keystroke or observable immediately, and we can filter here, filter we will return if character sequence length is greater than 0. So return, we will return true if character sequence dot length is greater than 0. So we don't want for the 0 or immediate validation on here. Let's give the user time to start typing. So let's see here that immediate error is gone, and if we type, starts to type, this error keeps showing. So it will apply in both our observable here, and we can similarly we can have a check on our password like that demo before. I will give that password length of 6. If password length is less than 6, we will show password et dot set error password is invalid. Just let's keep saying this. So we have our the first part of our form validation done. We are individually testing that view and showing error on that view, but we need to still do something with this submit button. We need to enable or disable it depending on these errors, and we can do that by combining these two observable and getting a final boolean output. Should we show that button, enable that button, or should we not enable that button? Or you can also hide or make the button gone or appear when the form is correctly valid. That's up to you. And let's create a combined observable from this two observable combine latest, and we will pass this email et observable and password et observable, and we will pass that a by function string what we will pass boolean. We will pass a boolean. Okay, and here we will check this. We can yes, we will check this. We will return true if our two condition is met here. If one of them is not met, we will just return false. Typical form validation type. And if our email is invalid, doesn't match, we will return false. And again we will, if our password is less than 6, we will return false. And if both these conditions are met, we will return true. So we have another observable that will give us the final status of this form validation, true in boolean. If all the conditions are met, it will return true, and if any of them is not met, it will return false here. And we can immediately subscribe to that observable. We cannot use primitive type, sorry, I forgot. We need to use boolean class, not primitive. We cannot use primitive class in Rx observable. Let's see our final or form status here. We will say form status, and let's just print this p, and what is the output? Let's check that. Okay, here you see that our combined observable was not triggered until we type both on these forms, and it when we type on this password, it start showing our log form status false. It still is false, and if what is this? Sorry, I have set a wrong condition here. Is less than 6, then I will now see again that our combined observable is not sending any data still, and if we start typing here, it starts sending. And we have our password form valid, but still our form status is false, so we need to make this condition fulfill. And when let's see again, it's saying false. If it's true, here it says the form status is true, so we can now use this boolean value to toggle our or set enable, disable, or our submit button. Let's do that. Let's say submit button set enable, just pass this boolean, and as like before, we need to hold this disposable so that we can dispose this later on our on destroy method. And let's give it a proper formatting. Now I guess our form validation is done, and I will just dispose this, and it will okay. Let's see. So our submit button is enabled, and if we remove this, see our submit button is disabled. Enable, disable, enable, disable, enable, disable. Okay, that's our submit button. And now I just need to dispose this disposable at this on destroy. I will just dispose this, and we can write an helper method to dispose all of our observable in a method here. So that's it for our form validation. Hope you understand what I was expecting to show you, or trying to display here. So let's give a shout out in comment box about any suggestion, or if I did anything wrong, or if we can do something more better than this. So let's share your thought in the comment, and please do subscribe for more videos, and if you guys have any queries or anything, any topics you want me to discuss, then just tell me in the comment, and I will try to get to you with that if I can. So goodbye.